Good morning, my friends. It is me, Militant Ginger. I'm with you once again. It is 5:30 in the morning. Beautiful, beautiful morning. It's already really hot. Must already be about 70 degrees, and it's going to get a lot hotter. It has just been disgustingly hot, but that's every summer in New Jersey. Anyway, it's been a while. It's been a long time, and it's kind of interesting. I'm doing this video today for my buddy Dan. From Dan Gold Media, and of course I'll pop a link down below. You should definitely go and check out his channel. I don't think he has posted anything there for a while, and that's interesting because I haven't posted anything for a while. And the other day we just connected, and I'm the worst friend ever because I've been so caught up with all my own bullshit that I haven't been chasing up with people and talking to people. But we connected very briefly, and you know, Dan said that he hadn't been keeping up with his video diary because it felt inauthentic, and I was like, you nailed it. You really nailed it with that. It's funny. I always try and project myself as like an optimistic person, and it's difficult to get in front of the camera and talk about optimism and talk about the things that you want to talk about. I mean, for me, it's, you know, motivation and encouragement and stuff like that. It's difficult to do that when you don't necessarily feel that is what is going on in your life at this particular moment. And you know, when Dan said that, it really resonated with me, which is why I want to make this video, because I feel exactly the same thing. When you work in sort of media and you work in an environment where you have to project an image of yourself, sometimes you spend so much time projecting an image of yourself being like positive and upbeat that you almost try and believe it, even if it isn't necessarily true. And I have this theory that there are all sorts of reasons for depression, but one major reason for depression, especially in men, is something called incongruence. Incongruence is when things don't match up. So the way you think you are, or the way you think you are, and the way you actually feel don't match up, then you start to not be happy, because obviously things are out of whack. So, you know, this video today is just my reality check. This is me being authentic, and it's like saying, hey, you know what, it's things are tough, and I'm not saying they're tough in a bad way. I'm muddling through. KBO, as Winston Churchill used to say, keep buggering on. But I will say, this year so far has hit like Conor McGregor. Like, last year, 2017, was up and down. Yeah, I mean, I had my brother passing away, which was very sad, but it was, by and large, the best year of my life. This year, I don't know, this year has been a tough one. This year it punched me in the face so many times, and it's been a constant struggle, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. As I said, KBO, keep buggering on. I have learned so much this year. I thought last year was the year of learning, and I thought last year was the year that I learned so much and was learning enough to put myself on the right track. I had no clue. This year I've learned so much. This year it's almost like I leveled up and I'm learning something much more complicated, which reminds me of another saying I read somewhere on a stupid bumper sticker. It said, life is like a video game. When it starts getting harder, it's because you're progressing. And so maybe that's the case. But it was, this year was just being a real struggle, and I kept doing, I think, what Dan has always been doing. That is, you try and put a brave face and that big smile and say everything's great. And you know, sometimes it's not great. It's not to say it's not gonna be great, but sometimes it's not great. There's a country and western song I can't remember the name of, but it's got this great line about when you start pushing 40, 40 starts pushing back. And I think I've definitely noticed that this year. It's like 40 is a grind. And I will say that, it's a grind, because it's a grind to pay your bills. It's a grind to like do the best for your kids, even though you love your kids, but half the time they're driving you nuts, and the other half the time you are feeling like the worst parent because you're not dedicating all your time to them. Relationships are bloody tough. And again, that's something you always put a brave face on, and you know, you always present yourself and your spouse is like being strong together and stuff. I think 40 is the decade when when that's not necessarily true, and it's one of the toughest like periods ever for husbands and wives or partners or whatever. Everything is just tougher. And also 40's the year when, you know, well, maybe it's earlier, but it's definitely the year when your body starts being like, hey, warranty's expired. Because I like to think of myself probably in the best shape of my life. I mean, I haven't been going to the gym regularly like I used to last year, but I mean, you know, I'm slimmer than I ever was, I'm fitter than I ever was, but for example, I'm getting crazy carpal tunnel syndrome. My elbows ache constantly. It's just, yeah, your body starts, your warranty expires, basically. So it's just tough. It's just tough. It's a constant bloody slog. And it's tough to put a big smile on your face. And it's tough to do something like YouTube videos where you get in front of them and you're like, hey, guys, yeah, everything's awesome. Woo woo. Because you don't necessarily feel that. I mean, that's the incongruence I told you about. And so I can understand completely why Dan, you know, paused from making YouTube videos, and it's the same reason I paused from making YouTube videos. So, I don't know. I'm gonna keep trying though. I'm gonna keep on doing YouTube videos because I enjoy doing them, and I enjoy looking back at the ones that I did from previous years. I think I do these videos more for me than anybody else, because nobody really watches them anyway. So odd. I have like videos with 20,000 views about like car repair and stuff like that, and then I have videos with like 6 views. I was out last night and I met up with my buddy Jay Leibs, who I'll put another link to down below, who's another YouTuber, and he was talking, he just came back from VidCon, and he was talking about how channels need to be focused on something, and variety channels and generalized channels are never going to do very well. And my problem with my YouTube channel, I've never like aspired to be a YouTuber, but it's all over the place. Sometimes it's about intermittent fasting, and sometimes it's about car repair. A lot of the times it's about motivation. It's like, what is it really about? Who the hell knows? Anyway, I just wanted to make this video and, you know, put a line in the sand. I literally did that so I knew where I'd be, and say, life is tough. Life is going to punch you repeatedly in the face, but I am optimistic. I think that's hopefully what this year is going to be. This year is going to be a hard, constant slog, but at the end of it, I'm going to be that much closer to where I want to be. And I've started to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's just a case of putting one foot in front of the other and getting at. And that's something, I think that's something else that I've learned this year, that one of the big challenges in life is by the time you get to 40, you know what you need to do to get your life where you want it to be. It's just a case of doing it. And maybe it's not just 40. By 40 you should have learned that. But I think anything else in life, you have to decide. Don Draper said this, or yeah, you have to decide what it is you want to do, and then you have to become the person who does it. Pretty much everything in life is prescriptive. There's a step-by-step that you have to take to get there, and the problem in life isn't that we don't know what those steps are, it's either that we don't know what it is we want to do. You know, you can't go anywhere unless you know where you're going. And secondly, we know what those steps are and we just don't take them, and that's why we fail. And we blame that on everything except ourselves. Hey, but hey, isn't that the problem in life? We blame everything on anything except ourselves. But I'm going to keep up with these diaries. I know this has been a complete rambling video. Dan, thank you for the motivation. Keep the chin up, mate. KBO. And we will make the rest of this year the best year ever. And we will be in an incredible place this time next year. Cheerio.